So was that work as always? Okay. Am I live? Am I live? This is just a little bit terrible. Like, I'm new to all of this. And I downloaded a whole live streaming thing. Hopefully people can hear me, but I downloaded a whole live stream thing and it didn't work. Like, I don't understand. Bear with me. Let me turn it off because it's just not working. Okay, it's saved, but it matter. Okay. Yeah, so that was odd. Just delete that for now. That was so odd. Like I've not been on a live for a long time. Yeah, I've not been on a live for a long time. And before, 3 years ago, like literally 3 years ago is the last time I've come on. And you used to just click it and it used to work, but now it said you had to download a whole thing, and I was planning this from earlier and it just didn't work. My luck. So this is the lighting anyway. Hopefully it's good enough. I can't do it on my phone yet apparently, so I just have to use the laptop. But yeah, for whoever enters this live stream, I apologize for the first minute. Maybe when at the end I'll put in the timestamps for when I start, because like yo. So yeah, anyway, hi everyone. I hope I can be heard as well. You see, because I'm doing this all myself and I'm new, like does that work? I'm going on my actual phone to see if it works. It's not working. And you know when it's just like you feel kind of like giving up. It's like, no, it's not working. But oh, okay. See, it's come on my phone twice. Look, can you see that? Gosh, I've got two. Anyway, I don't know which one's working at this point. Okay, so it's the second one that's working because it's moving like this. See me with my head top. I guess I'm the one watching. But anyway, for whoever watches this in the future or now, if people come on, I used to live stream about oh hi. Oh, I sound fine. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for the feedback. Yeah, I used to live stream 3 years ago. I've not been on YouTube for 3 years ago. I've not live streamed for 3 years, and I used to speak about conversations with God because I found that book interesting, and it was a bit too difficult to try and do a whole planned video, so I just went on live to talk about it. It was just so much easier. And yeah, but I'm not really doing conversations with God anymore. I might go back to it if people want to, because the book is actually profound. It's nothing to do with religion. It's nothing to do with religion. Has anyone heard that? Those who listen to this, let me know anyway. I will go over it if people want me to. I don't mind. But yeah, so I'm changing a lot to do with my channel. I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow, but I won't be showing my face as much. So that's why I wanted to dedicate like Thursdays to live streams where I do actually show my face. But I explain more about that in tomorrow's video, so you can listen to that. So on Thursdays, really, I wanted to talk more about astrology, but not mainstream astrology, because mainstream astrology is bullshit. Like, it's chatting shit. To put it clear, it's bullshit. So as I kind of fell into the astrology bracket, I came across sidereal and tropical astrology. So sidereal is more Eastern astrology and tropical is more Western astrology. And Yeah, so I got into it. I resonated a bit more with my sidereal, but then, of course, because I was in the Western side of the world, I then went more along with my Western chart. And one day, this is how this all started. So one day, I was like, "Oh, okay." I found a an app, a Skyview app, which shows you the actual planetary alignments, like that's happening in that moment in time. And I was like, okay, so if I can't remember exactly what I was looking at then, but if the sun is supposedly in Libra, for example, I'll just use the terminology now. If it's meant to be in Libra, when I go on this Sky app, it should tell me that the sun is in Libra, but it's not. Today is, what's the date today? So 20th of October, and it's apparently Libra season. But when you actually look up in the sky, and obviously with the black mirror, um the sun's not in Libra, it's in sidereal. No, it's in Virgo. So sidereal astrology mentions this, and this is where I got a bit confused, because I'm just like, this doesn't make one drop of sense. It really doesn't. If this, like, is there not only one sun? Why is it in two different star constellations? So I began to just ignore mainstream astrology, because it's basically chatting shit. It's chatting shit. A lot of the planetary alignments just aren't where mainstream astrology says it is. Now, it's like, I found, like, does it really matter? Really, does it really matter? And I feel it does, because hey girl. Hey, thank you for joining. Thank you. um but yeah, I thought, does it really matter? But when it comes to astrology, it does, because it's energy. Our realm is energy based, and um the star constellations that actually happen, because some people don't know this. I share some information on TikTok as well, and people genuinely don't know that astrology, that it happens in the sky. Like, literally, when you look up, the star constellations are there, and it happens in the sky, and that's how people came to this knowing. But people don't actually know this, because we're told more about the Western view of things. So we've been told about that since before the internet. It was just like, your horoscope, isn't it? You either know it in a newspaper, magazine, and that was it, kind of before the whole internet blew up. But oh gosh, did I lose my train of thought? That's really bad. That happens sometimes, I'll be midway something and then I've lost my train of thought. But um yeah, oh yeah, it happens in the sky. So some people don't know this, but it actually does. So I feel it impacts us, because the star constellations that happen in our realm, um, it emits the different energetic frequencies, because again, we have been told and taught since school that the planets are, they're just balls of planets, and it made of whatever. But I see them as light luminaries. I see them as light luminaries, like literally dancing around in the sky. And the light luminaries emit a certain frequency, which then impacts our frequency, our energetic frequency. So that's why I see it as, it has some importance. Don't get me wrong, we're more powerful than anything. So imagine now, do forgive me if you hear a beeping, because I put the washing on and it's going off now. But anyway, imagine, we are powerful creators. From our thought, we create. And imagine this amazing plan to get a whole collective of people to be, whether consciously or unconsciously, just operating in a false time that isn't cyclical in nature, because we're in an organic system, and we are organic beings. But I feel that they've implanted this from decades, centuries ago, because they knew an awakening to self and consciousness would have expanded. So they knew this. So it's like, okay, something has to be in place. When people begin to question, when all the socials blow up, something has to be in place, which is, of course, mainstream astrology. So then you've got a whole collective of people, thinkers now, because let's be real, when you delve into astrology, you're beginning to think more. You're beginning to think more, basically. You're beginning to look deeper into you. And I feel for those who find it more difficult, like me, to just naturally be how you are, all of these extra teachings of stuff help us to get a deeper knowing of ourselves. So it helps me anyway. But of course, if you're, like babies and children, they're just naturally themselves. And that's fine. But those who need the extra help, you've got this whole astrology. You've got the whole astrology. But yeah, so with that being said, that's why I see it is kind of important. And I just see it just makes more sense to me. It makes more logical sense to look up at the sky. It's like they're telling you the sun is in Libra. When you look up at the sky, the sun is not in Libra. Like we take all our information from the Black Mirror device, and it's like just look up at that black mirror when the sky is black, and you'll be able to see and know more. So yeah, so essentially that's a little introduction to that. I have a lot of content that I'm editing and that will be out more upon this, but I want to kind of use these lives to just talk about the week ahead, basically, to talk about the week ahead. And maybe as we grow, have a little hangout, talk about interesting concepts and deep concepts and stuff like that, because I've got a lot to say. I've got a lot to say and I've got a lot on my mind. And yeah, yeah, so that is that. Um, Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. We look up at the sky a lot, but we have no idea what we're looking at. And it's amazing because my friend, one time I come out, me and my friend was walking and it was dark. And I said, "Oh, that's Jupiter." Because for a while I've been looking at the sky. I was like, "Yeah, that's Jupiter." And she was just like, "How do you know?" She's like, "How do you know?" And it's a genuine question. How do you know? It's only because I was having my sky time. I was having my sky time for about 2 years straight. So every night I'd have my spliff, and I'd look up at the sky. So obviously when it's not cloudy and it's clear, I'm looking up. And for a while now, I'm like, at first, and this is what I'm saying, when like people generally don't notice that the luminaries are actually something, because I was looking up at the sky and it was last year, and I was just like, wow, I'm noticing patterns, like these are actual patterns. In my head I'm just like, the patterns, but I didn't click to think what star constellation is that until the beginning of this year, 2022. So yeah. Sky time. Sky time. So yeah, so let's kind of look at the week ahead. Let's look at the week ahead. I've put my little notes. It's really not the best. It's really not the best, but it's something. I'm gonna be more organized. I feel when it comes to life, you just need to start and then you'll get better. So I'm working on that. I am working on that. Look at my setup. I'm using a pillow for my microphone because I say it go sometime. I say it go. So anyway, I kind of wanted to share with you where the placements are, and I don't quite know how to do this. Maybe like after I've done the live, I'll put up um posts on my channel where I can screenshot where the I can't say it, my tongue, where the positions actually are. So if I can show you on my phone, I don't know if that looks, but this is the Sky app that I use. If you can see, you can, you can't really see it too good. So what I'll do, I'll take a screenshot of everything I'm saying and put it as post after. So if anyone wants to kind of look back, they can, because I don't know how to do it on the screen. We're not that advanced. We're not that advanced. So the sun, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I'll put it up as a post, which means you have to keep an eye on my YouTube channel. Stay with me, people. Stay. So, okay, the sun right now, as I said, it's in Virgo. Um, Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. We're looking from the 23rd of October to the 30th of October. So we're looking weekly from Sunday, the first day of the week, to Saturday, the seventh day of the week. So on um the sun is in Virgo, Mercury is in Virgo, the moon on the 23rd is in Virgo, and that is a new moon. Venus is in Virgo, heavy Virgo energy, heavy Virgo. Mars is in Taurus. Now, pay attention, because mainstream astrology, and if you look on socials, they're saying Mars is going to begin its retrograde probably today or tomorrow, very soon. But they're saying it's retrograding in Gemini. Mars hasn't even touched Gemini. It's been in Taurus this whole time, and it's going to retrograde in Taurus and then go back. So that's Mars's story. Jupiter is chilling in Pisces. Saturn is in Capricorn. And Uranus is in Aries. Neptune is in Aquarius. And Pluto is in Sag. That I love that planet, I really do. And Lilith, I want to mention Lilith as well, because I feel this placement is important. Excuse me. And I don't feel many people talk about it in terms of, I don't see much people talk about it, basically. They talk a lot about it, but in terms of the transits. But listen to where Lilith is now. Lilith is in SEXTANS. That's where Lilith is right now. And she will stay there till past beyond the 31st, beyond October, for a little bit. So that's a new constellation that isn't mentioned at all in mainstream astrology, but it has an impact. So when it comes to like the bigger planets like Saturn, Jupiter as well, Mars, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, they stay in wherever they're at for a while. So we won't really be touching on them too much. Mercury and Venus moves a bit quicker, and obviously the sun and mainly the moon, which is suspect. That moon is suspect, hella suspect. But anyway, so we're mainly going to be focusing on the moon's movement and how this could impact us, basically, because that's the quickest moving, wandering luminary. It's suspect. So, okay. So the moon on the 26th is in Libra. So when it comes to the moon, I see the moon as it's the ruler of the feminine energy, so to say. It's the mover of our emotions. So it's the wandering planet that moves our emotions, that it gets our energy into motion, basically. That's what that luminary does. So it is a new moon. So when it's a new moon, there's no moon in the sky. Like, it don't exist. It's gone. Like, it's gone, meaning its influence is less impactful, basically. You'll be less moved by your emotion. Things will be more logical based, more rational, and things like that. So on the 26th now, from the 23rd, it's in Virgo up until the 26th. From the 26th, it moves. It bright shine like a diamond. It shine bright. It does, because it's powerful. It moves our emotions. So yeah, it's in Libra. It moves into Libra on the 26th of this month. Yeah, new moon. Basically, it's just the moon isn't there. You know how it phases out? And the moment it phases out, it's gone. I've literally done a recording about the moon. I've done a recording, so keep an eye out for that, where I talk about his suspectness, like he's hella suspect. But essentially, the power of its projection has gone when there's no moon in the sky, and then it's slowly coming back, basically, when it's phasing back in. So that being in Libra on the 26th, whilst the sun Mercury and Venus are all in Virgo. So you're just going to be very analytical. Has anyone been really overthinking things recently and doubling back and like, oh, does that make sense? Should I do this? Blah blah blah. If that's the case, it's because it's still Virgo season. So naturally, we'll be doing that. Naturally, we're attracting circumstances to us where we've got no choice but to reconsider. Okay, so it's not the Libra lovey-dovey season yet. We're not there yet. But the moon is entering Libra. So again, we may Libra see it is it's also bringing balance. So we won't be ruled by our emotions too much during that time. We'll be thinking more rationally to bring balance to all this chaos that's been happening. My month has been tough, people. It has been tough, tough. Like, tough. I could not have done this video yesterday because I was just all emotional. It was just too much. But yeah, so anyway, it will be bringing a bit more balance, more logical reasoning stuff. As it moves into Scorpio now, I'm seeing it's still like a no moon. So on the 27th, it's going through Scorpio, and Scorpio is like a death and rebirth. So once balance comes and you're thinking rationally, maybe you may attract something that will rebirth you. Some things might be difficult. I don't know. Like, one thing I have to say, I am not the best at um angles and like sextiles and all that. I'm really not. There's ample people out there via the Black Mirror that can tell you all that. I don't know. Down to learn. If anyone would help me, like to learn, like, if they'd like to fund me, I know exactly where I can learn, but I'm not the best on that yet. In terms of degrees, essentially, it's just how potent that energy or frequency you're getting from that star constellation and light luminary. That's how I see the degrees, basically. So yes, let me have a sip of my wine. It's wine o'clock time for me. Mhm. Okay. So as we go to the 28th of October now, I love where the moon is. It's passing through Ophicius. Oh, I love this star constellation. I love it. I see it all the time. I know exactly where it is. Yeah, it's amazing. So this is the 13th star constellation. Yeah, star constellation that just was ignored. It was ignored about 2 years ago. I don't know if you lot remember that it was going around on Facebook that I saw that NASA added this next constellation and blah blah blah. It's all mind games. The constellation was there a long time, but them kind of bringing out that narrative makes people think more like, oh, I don't trust that. Where's that come from? You see, but the stars was there from time. It was there from time. So the moon is passing through Ophicius. Now, Ophicius comes just after Scorpio, as you can see, and it is it's the extra transmutation, basically. It's after the death and rebirth. It's now the transmutation of that energy. Now you can see why this star constellation was ignored, because they do not want you to transmute that death and rebirth. It's just you dead, gone. And then that's it. Like, that's it. Okay. So whatever circumstances you attract in your life, again, you'll be thinking more rationally because the moon it's slowly phasing back in at this point. And then the 29th and the 30th, the moon is slowly getting brighter and it's in Sagittarius. So I love the way the story goes when Ophicius is involved, because it's like you have the whole death and rebirth experience, the transmutation of what you've then experienced, and Sagittarius, like the arrow, then takes you into another direction, um a higher perspective. But it's like, because they cut out Ephesius, it's like you're thrown into another direction, but on the same level. Where's the transmutation? you know what I mean, to get you another step higher. So, with that being said, we're going to look at where Lilith is now. I'm going to explain a little bit about Lilith. So those who don't know, Lilith is it's an asteroid in the sky, supposedly, and it takes on the story of Adam and Eve, Lilith being the first wife of Adam, and she didn't want to submit, and then she basically cut loose and God cursed her and blah blah blah. That's that story. But anyway, it represents our hidden desires. And right now it's sat in SEXTANS, which is close to Leo. So it was in Leo, it jumped into SEXTANS, and I think sometime in November it's going back into Leo again. And what this tells me is that it being in SEXTANS, SEXTANS don't really have a story. All it is apparently is a tool that's used to measure and to see where the stars are. So listen to this story now. Lilith being suppressed is in the star constellation that tells you where the stars are. So, of course, this knowledge right here is suppressed. It's very suppressed. So, yeah, that for me says a lot. It's like it's in the constellation that's telling you where the stars are, and it's suppressed because all of the mainstream astrology, I don't even know where mainstream astrology is saying that Lilith is, but it's definitely not saying it's in SEXTANS. More than likely, it's just going to say it's in Leo. So, yeah, and I feel it's kind of good. I'm glad I also came upon this knowing, because to me, this is telling me that it's giving me more encouragement and more bravery, would I say? Because I'm a little bit nervous. I'm up on here and I'm nervous. I really am. And especially when it comes to kind of getting my ideas out there, with this sky placement, I am a Pisces rising, but in Western astrology, I am an Aries rising. And I resonate more with a Pisces rising, basically. And sometimes I find it difficult to get my ideas out there. I can get discouraged really easily because I'm just like, but I also know a lot of stuff. This resonates with me. I'm just like, oh, this makes sense. And yeah, so it's like for me, I'm the type of person that needs the extra depth of stuff to function in this reality. I just do. That's just my coding. And for me, seeing all of this, I'm like, okay, this is making sense. This is making sense why I've even got this desire, this burning desire to just get it out there. Like, people, stop listening to mainstream astrology. Like, I see mainstream astrology as the illusionary matrix, basically. We live in the matrix. The matrix is simply the matter that light oscillates in and resides in, and then poof, poof, magic, magic, we're here. But there's an illusionary matrix where our mind is trapped in, and I feel that only focusing on that, the mainstream astrology is energetically feeding it. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying to not know it. I'm saying it's really good to know your illusionary matrix planetary alignments, because then you know what to do when you're ready to play inside the illusion. It's a game. Well, it's a place to play. So yeah, yeah. With with that being said, I do hope this made sense. Yeah, if anyone has any questions whilst on the live, maybe not. There's not a lot of us in here and I'm one person. But it's okay. I feel we'll grow, and I'm just kind of gonna push past my fear and see where this takes me. See where this takes me. So thank you for listening. Anyone who has any questions in the future, comment down below. Yeah, I'm a push it, sis. I am. But thank you so much for joining live. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. And yeah, my intention will be to say this weekly to see what the moon has in store for moving our emotions. But yeah, with that being said, I'm about to create some more content because I've still got a lot to say. And thank you for joining me live. So bye.